The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Cryptid Files is a weekly discussion and debate covering all things cryptid. Mysterious and terrifying creatures are our passion. Join us each week as we bring you groundbreaking interviews and accounts, info from research in the field, as well as data and experiences of our own. From the widely known cryptids to the most strange and obscure, we want to believe. Do you?
A wendigo is a malevolent spirit, literally brought into life through what we consider one of the most ultimate acts of evil, cannibalism. They have been part and parcel of Native American culture since time immemorial.
They normally start out as a human that becomes depraved and cannibalistic. And those cannibalistic tendencies make it turn into this monster.
The wendigo is insatiable. It wants flesh, it wants blood. It is never satisfied with the amount of what it can eat.
All of its descriptions emphasize its monstrosity, its deviation from mankind.
It can literally move between time and space to be where its victims are. And so when the wendigo has its sights on you as a victim, there is no escape.
And welcome to the Cryptid Files. Welcome to the Cryptid Files. Such a goof, man. Why can't I hit the right button at the right time?
It's been a minute.
It has. You know, and we're back after our 2-week hiatus, and obviously I can't get it right.
Man. We're feeling it. We're
Yep.
feeling it. It's
Yep.
been a minute.
Yep. It sure has. If you can tell right now, my face is extremely red.
I don't know why. Nobody's looking at you.
Oh, man.
I even forgot to make his obligatory cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's most likely what it is. But so let's bring everybody up to date. So we've had 2 weeks off, 4th of July, and
Some stuff
that we got married. So we got married on July 26th.
We sure did.
Yeah, so that's why we weren't there 2 weeks ago, and had some things going on for Saturday last week.
So our schedule has been packed.
Oh, yeah. But we've been out since then researching and everything else and trying to find more stuff to share with you guys.
We've been out a lot. We've been out quite a bit, actually.
Yes, we have.
And been looking into some different areas, and we're trying to get in there. It takes a while to get into a certain area and to be able to, first of all, learn topographically where you're at, what you're doing, and to get together all of the sightings, etc., etc. So,
etc.
Yeah, and you can look all day on maps
ETC,
and
ETC.
on Earth, yes, all you want, but you got to get in there.
Yeah,
man.
Google Maps or Google Earth, for that matter, either one, doesn't really show you what you want to see.
I mean, it's good.
Yes,
but
it gives you a general idea.
You really need to have you need to have feet on the ground.
Yes,
and you need to go in and look and see, what's around you and what you're dealing with, and
Definitely.
what sort of wildlife is in the area, and what sort of just how everything is, vegetation, all that stuff. So,
right.
you need to figure out exactly where your water sources are. There's a million little things you have to go and do. But we've been to a couple of really interesting areas. We actually spent our honeymoon on the AT.
Yeah, that was it was interesting to go out on the AT, just to be, there, and it's a part of history, and enjoy it. And it was rather pretty, except for the wind.
A lot of wind.
A lot of wind.
And I've always wanted to go on the AT. It's been something that I've been wanting to do my whole life. So that was a fun way to spend the night. We actually got out there late because it was right before dark when we set off into literally the woods. It was. Yep. And it was a nice hike. We found a campsite a little ways in. It was a little bit of a walk in.
All the zigzagging we did to get to the top of the trail was probably like 2 feet in the woods.
It's not an easy trail.
No, it's not.
It's not an easy trail. It's not an easy hike. It's very bumpy, very rocky, a lot of elevation gain.
Yep.
And
what do we figure? 4,000 feet?
Oh yeah, we were
about 4,000 feet above.
We were up close to 4,000 feet where we were at. So we were up there. It was an interesting change of scenery, because usually when we're out in the woods, we're looking up.
Yep.
And we were looking down.
Yeah, this time we were looking down for sure.
Man, that wind hit. It was right before this big desert dust storm
something
thing.
Like that. But I'll tell you though, once we finally got the fire going, it would start to go out, that wind would kick in, and woof, that fire would go right back up again.
Went through some wood.
Oh yeah, we sure did.
And it's actually in an area where there were some sightings, and one specific sighting that was several months ago. But the timing, as far as the time of year, was different. So it's a kind of a busy area. Even when you're out here in the middle of nowhere, it gets busy.
Oh yeah.
I guess, well, not compared to what people think busy is, but to us it's busy.
Right.
But we had some interesting stuff happen. It wasn't too crazy, and it was so windy we couldn't hear anything anyway. But we had some rocks or something.
Oh yeah, so
come out of nowhere.
We went to one area down. I think what area do we call that now? Area 4. Is that Area 4 we were at?
But I was talking about on the AT. Remember whatever came through the.
Oh well, all right. So there was that too, and I have no idea what it was, but it was rather windy.
It was very windy, so it's hard to tell.
But it sounded like it got thrown with some force.
It did.
Yeah.
Area 4. Oh, are you talking about over near the chicken station?
Yes.
Ah, got you. Yes.
So we, Cindy and her kids and I went camping in, what was it, July 3rd? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's July 3rd, and
it was a Thursday.
Area 4 we've been kind of hanging out in after talking to our last guest, Rick Rellis. Thanks, Rick. And we've been hanging out there and having some possible communication with something, possible Bigfoot. And it was interesting because when Cindy and I, we found this area, and then across a creek and up a little path was a field in the WMA, and we walked up it. Our dog was with us, and the dog was kind of approaching the field very, very carefully, and it was kind of weird, but she stayed with me the whole time. Cindy was behind me about 10 feet, so I stopped at about 2/3 of the way up the field, and all of a sudden you could hear something come flying through the trees, not flapping its wings, but something has been thrown. And if you ever thrown something through a set of trees, you can hear it hitting every branch and leaf on the way through.
It was coming horizontally.
Yeah, it was coming horizontally, not vertically, up or down. It was coming from left to right, and it was right at me, and it landed probably about 3 feet from my feet. And then as soon as that happened, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds later, the dog's nose went down, and it was sniffing, and I don't know what it was. I never found it, but it probably was a rock. But the only thing I did find was a baby pine cone that was still green.
It's just so hard out there to find rocks. Now, this open field, we found another one, and we figured out what they are. They're kind of
the feeding plots.
Yes, they're feeding plots for the wildlife management people. And that's why we keep finding these little trails that go off into the woods.
Yep.
And they're not too far off of a dirt path.
No.
And they grow different things, corn and alfalfa and things in these fields to feed the wildlife. I guess it helps them to maybe keep a count or something.
Yeah, and it also helps keep the wildlife going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes it easier for them to find food.
Well,
easier for us to hunt.
yeah, that too. That's the one road that we were just talking about. The little path going up it's just not used anymore.
It's blocked off by a big steel bar and everything.
And so nobody can get up there, really. And I don't see anybody walking up there, but who knows? But it's interesting that we found those. Now that we know what those are, I feel like that might up your chances, because I can just see one of these things sitting off to the side, and these fields are pretty big. How big would you say these are?
Well, it's probably a good 50 yards long, probably a good 50 yards wide.
It's got to be at least a couple acres. Each one's a couple acres. I would think so. They're a lot bigger than
I would think that one was probably about an acre or more, acre and a half maybe.
I'd say, and that other one at least that we saw yesterday was at least two. Big.
But when I was getting the fire going and setting up the tents, Cindy went and looked, and she yelled across. She goes, "Hey, I got some footprints over here." And I went, "Well, you just walked up there." Well, here's the thing. Yeah, she walked up there, but she was in the middle of the dirt road where it was nice and compact, and these footprints were turned kind of towards our camp, and there was only 3 of them. And they were coming out. There was nothing going in.
It's really odd. And see, when I'm going out to do any of this stuff, and especially if I come across, I'm always the slowest, by the way. when we go on hikes and stuff, I'm the slowest because I'm always looking. And I'm always, looking around me whenever there's mud, wherever there's soft dirt. I'm looking left to right, up and down, for any sort of sign, because that's just what I've trained myself to do at this point. So when I go out and I get to an area where it's muddy or where the dirt is soft, I'm real super careful about where I step, and I'm real cognizant of what's down below me. So I make sure that I'm on really good footing and where I won't inadvertently mess up a possible track or whatever you're going to find. So I was very careful to walk in the middle when I found these, and it looks like someone just jumped and bam, just smacked right down in the mud.
Yeah, and then took another step and they were gone.
And they were kind of, they weren't straight on the path. They were kind of diagonal and going off into the brush. So, and there were only 2, and there was a very muddy path going up to this field. So the fact that there was a third one, which is iffy, but those 2, I just don't understand it. And I wish I would have measured depth, but as soon as I started to measure and take pictures, it started raining, and within seconds,
they were gone. As quick as they were there,
within seconds, this rain came, and I mean, it almost rained us out of our camp. It was a hard rain. But
she was able to, her and Lily were able to get the length and the width of the track. So the length of the track was 15 inches long with what looks like some toe depressions in there.
It does.
And then it was a good 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches wide.
Yep.
Now, we took my boot and measured my boot. My boot would have been 13 inches long, and I wear a size 10 or an 11, depending on the shoe. Mm-hmm. And my shoe was only 4 inches wide.
Yeah.
So that's either a real big human or possible Bigfoot. Possible.
You can tell it's bare feet.
Yes, it was bare
whatever
feet.
It is, it was bare feet.
You could see the tarsal break. And
you never can, even if you take pictures, you just can't.
They don't do it any justice.
Not unless it's really crisp and defined.
Right.
There are little nuances that you can make out when you're standing above these things that you can't on even when you take any pictures at all. So, it was interesting. I don't know. We've been out a few more times, and right now there are a lot of tourists up here, though.
A lot.
A whole ton of tourists, and I don't know. I feel like that kind of pushes everything back a little bit.
Right.
But we went out in a new area this weekend, and a friend of ours, yes, we're going to start looking into this. A friend of ours showed us out there, which is great because I've been wanting to get in there. And that's actually Mr. Rick Rellis gave us a little nod to this area. So it's one I've been wanting to check out. So that's what we're doing.
Yep.
So we'll keep you updated on that.
We shall. So why don't we introduce our next victim to the Cryptid Files?
Or maybe we would be their victim.
Well, somebody will be anyways. The Wendigo.
Yeah,
now,
man.
you can call it what you want, but it's not Wendigo. It's not whatever you want, whatever it is.
Wendigo.
It's Wendigo.
Per the Algonquin tribes.
This is correct. Also, the other name is Wetigo.
Yes.
It's a mythological creature or evil spirit from the folklore of the First Nation Algonquin tribes. Based in the northern forest of Nova Scotia, the east coast of Canada, and Great Lakes region of Canada, and in Wisconsin, United States, the Wendigo is described as a monster with some characteristics of a human or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them become monstrous. Its influence is said to invoke acts of murder, insatiable greed, cannibalism, and the cultural taboos against such behaviors. The creature lends its name to the controversial modern medical term Wendigo psychosis. Ooh, I bet you didn't know that. Described by psychiatrists as a culture-bound syndrome with symptoms such as intense craving for human flesh and fear of becoming a cannibal. In some indigenous communities, environmental destruction and insatiable greed are also seen as a manifestation of Wendigo psychosis.
Okay, so here you have two very different elements of this legend. You have, on one hand, this mythical type thing that I'm trying to put my thoughts together here. So it's sort of a fable or a moral to say, hey, you don't need to be killing people. You don't need to be greedy. You don't need to want too much, or there are many things, just like a boogeyman, sort of thing. But then you have this realistic aspect to this monster.
Yep.
And I mean, we've gone so far as to naming as psychosis, a mental disorder.
Now, that psychosis, Wendigo's psychosis, is actually it's what happens after you consume human flesh.
But is that what psychologists, psychiatrists say, that is it after you?
Most likely it's after.
Because I can see along the vein of, the actual beast itself. Like you become cannibalist, but before you consume human meat, what in the hell makes you so psychotic that you crave human flesh?
Then maybe the information I found is wrong, and it's something that happens to you before that creates this craving for
I've actually read it both ways. I've read it both ways as well.
I have too.
Where it's
before and after.
Yeah,
kind
the
of
before
thing.
and the after.
Yeah.
I've also read where it says that the actual Wendigo itself can influence you into committing acts that it would commit, which is very odd. I don't know why it would do that, and that subsequently that can cause you to become a Wendigo yourself, or that you become a Wendigo after you eat. Maybe it's both. Who knows?
Maybe it's both.
But there's some kind of realistic aspect to this because, people like, mostly it's serial killers, but part of their MO is to consume parts of their victims, which is, to me, of course, you're an average person. I don't understand what would possess a person, maybe that's what it is too, to want to consume human flesh.
I don't know. It's kind of gross if you ask me.
It's extremely gross. That's one of the things I have not been able to get past when I was doing the research for this. It's like, I just, of course we think about it all the time. Oh, cannibalism, that's pretty gross. But when you really start to read about this stuff, and it takes you in all these different directions, and you start to study these people who have done it, I wonder, it doesn't really say anything about these serial murderers, these people that just snap and just eat their loved ones. And
well, I'm reading here. It says human wendigos, aka cannibals.
So are all cannibals human wendigos?
In some traditions, humans overpowered by greed could turn into wendigos. The myth thus served as a method of encouraging cooperation and moderation. Other sources say that wendigos were created when a human resorted to cannibalism to survive. Mm-hmm. Humans could also turn into wendigos by being in contact with them for too long.
Now, see, this is what's just so creepy to me, is there are so many different ways to become a wendigo or wendigo-like being. And if we've got a psychosis named after it, to me that's really weird. Mm. I mean, we don't have like Bigfoot psychosis or, Rougarou psychosis. We don't have that.
Here's that one story. So to give you guys an idea what a wendigo looks like for people that don't know, approximately between 6 to possibly 8 feet tall. Usually most of the accounts, it has a head of a stag with antlers like an elk. The skin is pulled tightly over the bones. The body itself looks half eaten, almost zombified in a way, and has tracks left behind, not really human, but not really animal or creature, I guess, if you want. It's kind of a mix of both.
So it's a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, and then there are some that say it's more human-like with a set of antlers.
Now, see, I've known about the Wendigo since I was, oh gosh, you know me and my weird. And I've been weird since I can remember. So, I've been, reading these fantastic stories and looking things up about cryptid type beings for a very long time, a really long time. And when I was a kid, the Wendigo that I read up on the most looked almost like a rake type individual.
Yeah.
So, you have these two distinctive variations of what the Wendigo does look like.
Yeah. So I'm going to run over to chat here real quick. Arthur says...
Hello, Artie.
Oh my God, come on, computer, work with me today.
It's been a while.
It's a ritual to Satan, maybe? Actually, it has nothing to do with Satan.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends, because we don't know what, in the Algonquin tribes, we don't know what they equate to evil or Satan, so...
From all the reading and listening that I've been doing, I have heard nothing that has anything to do with Satan.
But see... That kind of brings up an interesting point that I was talking about this week.
Doesn't mean it couldn't be, though.
No, but that does bring up the interesting point that I was, sitting and ruminating over this, and I was thinking that, what if demons, some people believe that they want to appear as your worst nightmare, your worst fear. What's to say they can't say, hey, if they can appear to you as a child or a loved one, why can't they say, hey, I'm going to appear as a Wendigo, really freak them out, scare the piss out of them, So maybe just all this time, just because it's something that the Algonquins dealt with, maybe it's some sort of elemental demonic thing that resided in that area where the Algonquin tribes were. I don't know. But that's, I mean, we could... go all over the place with this, but I don't know. It's really fascinating and really terrifying.
So Judy says, tastes like chicken. Cornelius, me am hungry. They eat the babies. Actually, they don't discriminate. They'll eat everything, and they have an insatiable taste for flesh. They can never satisfy themselves.
No, the more they eat,
the more they eat, the
more they want.
The more they want.
The hungrier they become.
They're never full.
My God.
Like piranhas.
I wish I could do that.
At one point in time, I had that metabolism. I don't anymore.
But you know,
It's called old age.
the aspect of eating human flesh, I mean, if you want to look at it in a scientific manner, it is actually really bad for you.
And it's almost, keyword, impossible.
It is almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
Your body does not want to consume it.
Yeah,
Which is why some people don't do it and just die.
Yeah, some people do die. You'll actually start rejecting your own body.
It's
in a way.
really okay. So scientifically, we know that your body it can kill you to consume enough human flesh.
Yes.
Yet we have people like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
And we have people like Albert Fish.
Maybe they figured out a way how to consume enough without getting ill.
You also have these cannibal tribes who did it for years. There's one report of these two brothers who ate more than 400 people.
That's right. I remember that.
Over a course of so what if, just what if, go with me on this. What if they have a wendigo spirit in them that allows their bodies to consume this flesh without dying? And maybe that's what where the wendigo was derived from.
Or they're already dead, and that's what allows them to eat the flesh. Just saying. So,
well, you got to wait. You got to say that again. They're already dead.
They're already dead.
They eat the flesh because they're already dead.
Yeah, because they're wendigos.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
not that they're alive and have a spirit. I would.
So, can your body be alive and you not have your? I guess it can.
I don't know.
Especially if you're a cult mom, you believe. You know, I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I'm really sore about that. That's just.
I think Artie's a wendigo. He says the flesh is fine. It's the brain tissue that causes problems. So I think Artie is a wendigo.
Oh, Artie.
Yeah. Judy says Tums.
A lot of Tums.
So the other thing I was going to bring up too, that there is actually a cousin to the wendigo, and I can't remember its name, and it's more in Canada. Right? And it's based on the same idea, but different, if that makes any sense. So I was reading stuff on this and listening while I was at work. And there's actually, I forget what they call it. There's a certain type of scale that's out there, believe it or not. It's like a chance scale. It's scientifically made, the whole 9 yards, right?
Right.
And they were saying that off this scale, the wendigo would never exist.
Okay.
Never. But on the scale, if you put him on the scale and scientifically think about it and do the math and all this BS, there's a 50% chance that this thing does exist. Scientifically.
Well, there you go,
exists.
Folks. There you go.
And in even that 50% chance, along with all the other creatures that could possibly exist, that chance becomes smaller. But there's still a chance that he could exist, or she could exist.
I mean, come on, eating enough human flesh would cause any. I mean, how do we know it wouldn't cause you to mutate into something?
Well, I think you would die first.
But what if you didn't? That's what I'm saying. What if you didn't? I think
what would happen is the chemical imbalance in your body would change, and I just a guess. I don't know, and I think it would cause you. You'd probably obviously become insane or crazy at some point.
Yeah,
or some way, and I would think that. I don't think you'd gain any superhuman strength or anything like that. But you would probably end up resorting back to your primal instincts. Your body and your thought process would become more animal.
Well, and it makes sense that your body would waste away because
yes, it would.
You're not getting the nutrition that you would, which would cause you to become skinny in your skin.
Right, and I think you would have a lot of atrophy and everything else because
that's kind of
because human flesh is. I mean, you can eat a certain amount, but you cannot eat a lot.
Nope. Well, you can.
Yeah, but according, if you're a wendigo, you can never get your fill.
It's so weird. And it's just so weird. I was reading a few accounts where people were confronted by a wendigo. I guess it happened upon one, or it happened to come around them. Whatever the case is, they once they kind of lock in on you, they'd never leave you alone.
Yeah. You can run, you can fly on a plane, drive away from these things, lock yourself in the house. They are always going to haunt you. And if you do survive and get away, your mental status has greatly depleted because you will become insane because of the dreams and everything. It'll just straight up haunt you for the rest of your life.
And that's where
wendigo psychosis comes from.
So possibly some of these people who have resorted to cannibalism were exposed to or tormented by a wendigo?
Possibly.
And it caused a very real psychotic event in some people.
Now, I'm wondering if wendigo psychosis could be in other areas as well, not just human eating flesh. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, could it be money? Could it be, hoarding?
Well, I think because of the fact that it's people who are terrified of becoming cannibals, that's why it would be considered wendigo psychosis.
It's basically in a nutshell, it's a fear of becoming a cannibal.
Yeah, but it says an intense craving for human flesh
and fear of becoming a cannibal.
Right. It's not just like they're saying, oh my gosh, I'm afraid one day that I'm gonna be trapped into a circumstance where I have to eat human flesh. They're craving intensely.
Okay, so now I think you're a wendigo now. I heard that. so I think it's almost like a hoarder, how they can't get rid of it and they just keep collecting and collecting.
I think it's worse.
Collecting. Well, I mean, just think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just can't get rid of it. They just keep putting more shit in the house, and next thing you know, they're crawling through this little tunnel way up against their ceiling in the house.
Do you remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon?
That was too violent.
Okay, well,
sorry, Mom.
There was a Bugs Bunny cartoon where two men, it was a short little rotund man and a tall skinny man who were shipwrecked on an island, on a deserted island. And after a while, when Bugs Bunny happens to come along, they are so hungry that the short rotund guy looks at the tall guy and sees a hot dog. And the tall guy looks at the short guy and sees a hamburger. And they're chasing each other all over.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Intensely chasing each other because they're hungry and want to eat each other.
I think the only reason why I remember that is because my mother watched it first.
But love
you, Mom.
So I do have vitamin deficiency sometimes. A lot, actually. And it's something I've struggled with for a while. So there are times when I have weird cravings.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say they're weird?
Rocks, dirt, bones.
Just tell them all of it. And so it's I don't know. Would it be like that?
Probably.
Would it be like, because it gets really weird. And especially it's happened since about my third pregnancy, and it's never gone away, and it's due to anemia and some other vitamin deficiencies, vitamin D, some stuff like that. But the cravings, they're just weird. And I even asked a doctor about it at one time, and my doctor just looked at me like I was insane. So I quit asking about it. But I wonder if part of the psychosis is some sort of deficiency in vitamins.
I wouldn't doubt it.
know. I don't know how deficient in what vitamin you'd have to be in order to look at your friend and be like, he looks tasty. Like, I don't think that could explain it.
I mean, as a fat kid, I'd say food vitamins. I'd be like, hey, buddy, what you doing? I'd be looking at Artie going, hey, how you feeling? I think you need to sit down, pal.
Have a salt and pepper shaker over his head.
What you doing later?
Oh my God. Okay, but I don't know that could explain it. A deficiency, that's not going to make you go mentally cuckoo. I mean, it could if given enough deficiency, but I don't know anything that would make you want human flesh. Like meat. People meat.
Well, Artie says in chat, and it kind of made me think for a second. They are tormented by the spirits of the flesh they eat.
Yeah, but what
yeah,
about and
but-
that's true. That's true. The Wendigo is,
Yeah.
and it says, "I'm sorry, I ate you, whatever."
Yeah.
But you're not sorry. You liked
you're
it.
not, yeah.
But no. But what about before that happens? Like with Wendigo psychosis, have these things been tormented by Wendigo so much? These people, I mean, that they've just completely gone off the rails, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so freaked out. All
Yeah.
I want to eat is people." Like, that's all I want to eat. Like, you couldn't be in public at all. You just want to eat everybody. And, like, the more you eat, the more you want.
I wonder what it tastes like, though.
I can't even bring myself to want to know.
No, I mean,
already
like,
know I already know because doing my research on this, I've read some stuff that
Does
I
it
did
taste
not
like
want to
chicken?
read. No.
what does it taste like?
You really want to know?
Yeah, I mean, the audience wants to know.
Okay, so human meat tastes like very pungent pork.
Yeah, all right, I'm
It's
good.
the closest. Okay, and one guy says the closest thing to it is veal, which is not pork, but he says it's veal. Another person described it as a cross between lamb and pork,
Ugh, and I hate pork. Thanks,
but
Mom.
it's stronger. It's a stronger, depending on what part of the body you recover your meal from. It's gross. It's just gross. It's nasty.
Canty beans.
And some
Fava beans.
fava beans.
Fava beans.
Fava beans and a nice candy.
Hello, Clarice.
By the way, I just watched that movie 2 times.
Yes, actually, part of our research was watching
the
that.
movie. And I'd already watched it. I've watched it a million times. It's one of my favorite movies, but you can't not like that movie.
Corona.
Yeah. Not the be all. You can't not like Silence of the Lambs. Tell me you can't.
It's all right. I mean,
Come on, it's a fucking masterpiece.
I think the one that I did like was Red Dragon.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
But it's not like the OG.
It puts the lotion on its skin
or
it
else gets the hose again. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Such a great movie. I love it. I do. I love that movie. It's the only movie that I really liked with Jodie Foster in it.
So we're going to push through our 5-minute break and get going because tonight we have an investigation at a historical home.
Yes,
The
it is.
Chastain
It is
House.
a locally known, nice little place to go, and we're excited because
Maybe there'll be a Wendigo there.
I don't think there's a Wendigo there. Now there is an area not far from us called I Can't Tell You. That's what it's called.
It's called I Can't Tell You.
Yeah, and there's a story
The
that
State Forest I Can't Tell You.
That's right, and it's in
I
that
can't
direction.
tell you.
It's in that direction.
That one over there.
We're so
Just point your
serious.
finger and that's where it is.
That's why around here, yeah. But there is a report because I can't talk today. There is a report.
Record.
Yes, of a Wendigo type beast.
Yeah, it's not too far from us.
I hope it's not. Would you rather it be a skinwalker? Or,
A Dermis Jonta flesh runner.
I said it.
Shh. Yeah, well, you've been saying it all week and I've said nothing. So we don't speak that name in the houseth.
So anyway, it's either that one or, by the way, they're not the same thing.
No, they are not.
The is a Navajo
Dermis
legend,
Jonta.
and the Wendigo is Algonquin.
Yeah, so
And they're very different. So
Navajo.
don't let anybody tell you they're the same thing.
Navajo, for people that don't know, southwest corner. Okay, or along the south.
And they are evil.
Algonquin.
Devilish.
From the east to the west-ish north. That's where...
And Canada
just
area,
to give you
too.
an idea. And in Canada, yes.
But the Navajo beast, that one is, they do all kind of weird ritualistic stuff and eat
Yeah.
babies and things.
So the other thing I failed to tell you guys is that the Wendigo, its environment is mainly wooded areas
and cold.
in extreme colds.
It likes the cold. So we're good here.
I mean, how it's perfect. It's a perfect setup. It's a perfect environment for this thing that's already half dead to come and get you, because who really is going to travel far when it's negative something or other? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How far are you really going to get?
What the heck's it doing down here?
I don't know.
Maybe it was attached to somebody.
Maybe.
Oh, that's scary.
Maybe they ate somebody. That ate somebody.
Around here, you never find them.
Around here, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's probably one of them guys from your work. I've said too much.
Now my brain is going. Could it be him? Maybe. But I think it's him. Maybe they're both Wendigos.
All of them?
Yes.
All of them? That group?
Yes. Maybe they are.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's
they were talking about eating. Anyways.
Anyway, moving on. Okay. So anyway, I want to know. So we've heard from Artie in chat. I want to know what you guys think of the cannibalistic Wendigo. I wonder if Albert Fish was a Wendigo.
What's that other dude there?
Who?
I don't know.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
There you go.
I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, or how about Ed Gein? I don't know. I think he ate him. I think Ed Gein ate him. I know he dug him up.
Ate Jeffrey Dahmer?
No.
Or Jeffrey Dahmer ate Ed Gein?
Ed Gein ate his victims.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he ate them. He made soup bowls out of their skulls.
That's cool.
And
I'm
he made
sorry,
lamps.
but that is cool.
He made flesh lamps with flesh and bones.
Awesome.
And he had
Where can I get
utensils
one?
and stuff made out of people, like skin, all over the place. He was tanning hides all over the place.
Damn.
He started by digging people up in the graveyard, his mama, and then he went on from there.
Experimented
and
on
then
your
he
mama.
decided he needed them fresher. So he experimented on her, all right. But then Albert Fish, just like kids, he would just eat the heck out of some kids.
He's a pedophile.
He was
pedophilia, Wendigo,
he was
psychosis.
the worst.
Oh my god.
He was absolutely the worst. Them baby eaters. What are you gonna do? Maybe that's what all those elitists are. They're just all Wendigos. Yeah.
Baby eating Wendigos.
I don't know. I don't think a Wendigo will discriminate if it's that hungry.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it will either.
So it's odd. Did Jeffrey Dahmer have some Wendigo in him?
What part?
Ew. Ew. But they say he didn't consume as much human flesh as you'd think.
But still, I mean, yeah.
He did
consuming human flesh.
Yeah, but everybody thought he was just running through like guys left and right. Like he was just going to town, like eating guys
Hannibal
every
Lecter,
day,
biting cheeks off and everything.
But he wasn't. He was selective, I guess, about his consumption of humans. I don't know, but just the idea that we have a psychosis that is got it's named after a cryptid. Would this even be considered?
Well, again, like I said about that chance scale, there's a very slim chance that he is considered a cryptid, but more along the lines of a myth or a legend. Scientifically, he's probably about a 16th chance on a ruler.
So this myth and legend is going around making people want to eat other people.
I don't think it's the creature itself. I think it's the psychosis.
But what if the creature is the psychosis?
Well, then there you go.
Because what if there's that supernatural aspect, that supernatural element to it? If it's able to hunt people down? Because, I mean, bottom line is, okay, we know it's a legend now, Algonquin, whether it originated there or not. And I don't think it did, because there are people all over the world who have seen something like this in colder climates. Not just the Algonquins. Yeah. But, so people have seen something. So that's what just confuses me sometimes about all this stuff, is that people are seeing something.
Yeah, they definitely are.
I don't know. It's really strange to me. This one's kind of, even though we've had 2 weeks to study it, this one threw me for a loop because it's really gross.
Yeah, and there wasn't a huge amount of information on the Wendigo other than what it is and what it eats and its insatiable taste for human flesh, and it can never stop eating.
They can teleport.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yes. Yes, they can teleport. And actually, the Algonquin people have talismans and these sort of things that they make that can...
Stargates?
No.
You never see that movie?
Yes, I did see Stargate. I loved that movie. But the part 2 was bad.
Stupid.
But they have different relics that they make that can ward off a wendigo. Which can, by the way, they can appear as other animals.
They can appear as humans, too.
Yes. And they also can mimic.
Yes, they can.
They can sound like...
I have relics that will repel a wendigo.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's 12 gauge and about 8 more rounds.
No, you can shoot them.
Yeah, I know you can.
That doesn't do any good.
Oh, yeah, I will.
No.
You just pee on the bullets first. There you go.
It doesn't look like that.
Yeah,
but no,
it did in Vietnam.
It's just they're able to sound like, your mama.
No, your mama. I'll be talking about my mama when she's on here.
And so if your friend's out in the woods and you guys are like hanging out, maybe playing hide and seek, whatever, at night, and then you're going one direction, Billy goes in the other direction, but then in a minute or so you hear Billy coming from the way over in the other direction. It's probably
in front of you.
It's probably not Billy.
Yeah. Just turn around and go the other way.
And also, too, if you have a wendigo following you, right?
Yep.
And it's been following you forever.
Yeah.
And you've been warding it off with talismans and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if people are around you and they encounter the wendigo with you, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
You're never going to guess.
No.
Now.
They got it?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
I'm going to pay for a plane ticket for the ex-wife to come down here then. What?
We don't have a wendigo.
Well, we will soon enough.
No.
Yes.
Are you going to make a golem?
Yeah.
No.
I'll go find the damn thing and be like, listen.
You don't
you follow me around.
You make a golem.
Whatever that is. You follow me around. I'll break off pieces of flesh here and there. Maybe I'll scrape my skin off.
No.
What?
I'm not going to be privy to this. I will not.
Anyways.
There will be no consuming of human flesh. Although, I think maybe McDonald's is trying to turn us all into wendigos.
That's right. We just did eat McDonald's.
I know.
Maybe we are wendigos now.
That's why I don't feel good whenever, which is very seldom, I eat McDonald's. I don't feel good.
So, I already asked a question. So, is the wendigo a curse like a werewolf, or is it a cryptid? So, Artie, to answer the question, right? It is a myth. It's a legend. It's just a story.
Maybe.
Well, hold on. Just let me finish answering the question. Technically, it is just a myth. It's a story. It's a legend. It's, to keep the kids from kissing and, getting pregnant and all that kind of crap.
What?
So...
Keep the kids from eating themselves.
But there is another scientific end of it that says there is a chance that it could exist. Now, if it does exist, I would say the wendigo would be more like a curse, like a werewolf. So, yes.
I think it would be, because a werewolf could fall into the lines of a cryptid, too. I think it would be, you're right, like a werewolf, but I think it's both. I think it is like a marriage of a cryptid and a curse.
Yeah, but you're stuck like that. There's no changing back on when the full moon goes behind the clouds. Nope. You're stuck.
The only way
forever
to rid yourself of the curse of the wendigo is to die.
Yep.
Unfortunately, folks.
Yep.
So stop eating McDonald's.
Yeah,
because that's why you become a
wendigo. McWendigo.
We're going to start calling it that. And the reason I say that is because there are some studies that have been done, and they have shown that there are actually human cells in McDonald's meat. So do whatever you want with that.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
But I ate some human today. Oh, I got indigestion.
Yeah.
Must have been a Mexican. Oh, jeez.
Old Uncle McDonald's.
McWendigos.
That was good. That's good.
McWendigos.
That's so nasty. But no, I mean, it might be speaking of curses.
Artie, to answer your question, no, you can't kill the Wendigo.
No, absolutely not. There's no way.
You just basically die of old age.
That's
dead.
It. You're done. The Wendigo, and it attaches to someone else, or it eats someone else.
Or you get it to follow somebody else before you turn into one.
I don't know about that. Well, but even if...
Let's try it.
Even if it does not consume human flesh, it's still not going to die. because it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
Yeah.
they just continue to do what they do and eat people because.
Well, I know on a werewolf, maybe we'll have to talk about that sometime, aka Dogman. Well, more werewolf. Let's stick to the werewolf legend that the werewolf that bit you, you would have to kill that werewolf.
Yeah.
By eating its heart.
But I don't think there's...
Or kill
as
it or
much.
something to that effect.
Well, and plus the werewolf is different because a werewolf can, it's a human that transforms into a whatever. But in this case, it's not a wendigo who's transforming from a person to a wendigo. Although there is that movie.
Well, Artie, I think I have heard some stories that one person used to take and put salt in their bullets. I don't know how, but anyway, salt in their bullets.
Well, if you make your own bullets, you could just put it in there with a gunpowder.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make any sense. Salt in their bullets, and there was another thing. Oh, holy water in the sprinkler system.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's inventive.
Yeah.
How the heck do you put holy water in yours? That's a lot of
easy.
holy water.
It is a lot of holy. You just have a priest come out. Maybe a couple priests come
Just
out.
bless your sprinklers.
Maybe. or the water lines or whatever that's connected to it.
I was on a show one time and the host...
But even then, I don't know if it kills it, Artie.
The host said I should just get a kiddie pool and fill it up and with holy water and just roll in it. I was like, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks. But anyway, speaking of curses, next week we will be talking about the Rougarou.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm
The
excited
kangaroo,
about.
yeah.
Because it is a dog-man cryptid.
Oh, it's not a kangaroo?
No.
Is it a cousin of the kangaroo?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
Not even a distant relative.
All right.
And it resides down in the bayou.
In here, down in Louisiana.
But not just in the bayou.
Down with them cousin kissing, touching boys, whatever.
No, wait a minute. That's Alabama.
Oh,
not
sorry.
Louisiana.
I'm sorry, Louisiana.
They don't do that down there in Louisiana.
I gotta stop.
They just make gumbo. And
Actually, I shouldn't say
catch
that
crawfish and shrimp.
because
Why?
my company is taken over by a company in Louisiana. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up.
No,
never
no,
mind.
no.
We're not
I'm
even.
sorry.
We can go.
I'm sorry.
This is just not going the way we. Okay. Okay, that's all. That's all about that.
Yeah. Enough of that. I'm just teasing.
Anyway, so next week we're talking about the
Rougarou.
or the Loup-garou.
Loup-garou.
It is a Cajun cryptid.
Pretty much like a werewolf.
Yes, very
dog
much.
Man.
It is
More
a werewolf. It's a southern werewolf, is what it is.
I guess dogman and werewolf are two different things, but
So if you want to learn about this Rougarou, you got to tune in next week because this is one badass cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
He's spicy.
A little bit.
I think so.
Just a little bit.
Anything Cajun spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should try it sometime.
I'm gonna.
And not Cajun people because we're not
Then I'd be
Wendigos.
a wendigo.
A Wendigo.
Never mind.
Wendigo.
Wendigo.
Is that what
Wendigo.
Creole cannibals are?
Yeah, I guess so. All right. So I think we should end the show right here.
Okay.
Go get our stuff
And do
get
our
on-
thing.
and get on out of here. But
Just remember, folks, don't eat your mama and don't eat your family.
you can eat your daddy, but don't eat your mama.
If there's a lesson to be learned from the legend of the Wendigo,
Just bite your sister.
don't do that either.
Okay.
Don't go around eating.
Don't eat.
folks.
Yeah, don't eat anybody.
Just don't do it. It's
No.
just not. It's just not a good practice in
Right.
life to eat people.
No.
So let's just not do that if we can.
People lives matter.
Wendigo lives do not. Let's not make any more, folks. So no eating people. So that's that. That's what we've learned this week. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it for tonight. We got to get our stuff and meet up with the guy by 11 o'clock.
But we need to post some stuff on our page for you guys
Yeah.
to see about our investigation tonight.
Yeah, Fran, unfortunately, where we're going, there is no service, no Wi-Fi, and no electricity.
But let's tell Fran a little bit about
Okay.
the history on this place real
All
quick
right,
before we go.
let's do this because you got about 7 minutes before I kill it. Okay, and I can do that in 7 minutes.
I know you can.
Chastity.
Wait. What did we... Never mind. Just
What?
go. What did we just say?
I don't know. I can't go live, Fran. If I could, I would.
Oh my
but
gosh,
I can't.
y'all! A lot of these places we want to go live, and we just can't because we're really up there.
There's no service. I'll turn off our road down a quarter mile. Boom, service is gone.
No, it's gone, and we're like,
gone.
oh, I want to go live. Shit,
Yeah,
can't
you can't go live. I'm
But
sorry, Fran.
We'll do some videos though.
There will be video and stuff that
Oh
we'll
yeah,
post.
we're gonna post it.
Quick little history. Guy named Chastain bought the house. It was a Civil War hospital. Possible slaves were in there. They used to hide the Civil War soldiers in trapdoors within the building. Also used to be an orphanage at one point in time. And there's also some stories, and I say stories because I don't know, but it could have been an insane asylum too. By looking at the layout of the house, I don't think so, but I'm going to find out tonight by the caretaker.
Well, there were not very many
What's
people
up, Ricky?
around, so it's a possibility because, there weren't a lot of people in the area except for the Stanleys
and the Tillys.
and the Tillys.
Yeah, and when you see that, cartoon of two
The Hatfields and McCoys,
rednecks,
basically.
Hatfields and McCoys
Yeah.
going at it,
Stanleys
that's
and Tillys.
Tillys and Stanleys. Yep, absolutely. But all right, long story short, that's what it's about.
And there's a lot of activity, so
and
we'll see.
we've already been there and did a
We
couple
have.
little EVP sessions there, and we got. I'm going to wait till later to tell you that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so I can tell you all at once.
We'll take
All right.
some pictures and we'll give it to you guys.
Yeah,
So.
I love you guys.
We
We'll
do
talk
love
to you
you.
next week. All right.
And remember, don't eat people.
Yeah. Don't eat. Don't eat people.
All right, guys. Good night.
All right. Good night.